Hey there, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Art of Guitar Made Easy. And with that said, this channel is really geared towards the beginner. And the reason why I'm doing this is I am a self-taught guitar player. I got my first guitar when I was 16, didn't know how to play it, didn't even know how to tune it. But I learned. And as I progressed and I learned how to read tablature and music notation and everything else, I gradually moved on, and like a lot of people, I would learn songs out of guitar magazines and learn from the tablature, but the one thing that I had noticed I always had the question of was why? Why do these chords follow in these specific pattern? Why does it sound good? And why is it when you play them differently, they just kind of clash and they don't sound right? And why is that? So as I had moved on with my musical journey and things had just progressed on through, I had come across a book in a music store that somebody had ordered and they never picked up, and they had it like dirt cheap clearance to get rid of it. And it was written for college level. And if you were going to college to learn music theory, practical music theory, it's the book, that textbook you would take with you to learn. Or more or less, I should say, workbook. So I had went through that book, and at first it was very intimidating. A lot of it seemed over my head. But the more I looked, more I read, the more I learned, and the more I studied, what it did for me is it gave me this great understanding of music, and not just guitar, but all music. Why music is composed the way it is, why it's written the way it is, why the notes fall in the order that they do. Why do they sound good? Because they harmonize, because they resolve, not because you're just born with a guitar in your hand or you're destined to do it, but because they call it music theory. And that's going to be something I'm slowly going to integrate and teach to you over time and help you understand to navigate all this confusion. Because I know what you're thinking right now. You're looking at all this stuff. You have all these terms thrown at you that are just completely confusing you. Like, what's the difference between a chord compared to a mode, compared to a scale? I get it. And we'll get into that in later videos. First and foremost, the first thing, this introductory video, is if you found my channel and you enjoy guitar and you want to learn guitar and you want to get some honest to God, real information that's not going to be saturated in trying to sell you something, some gimmicks, or try to sell you a merch that you don't need, you found the right channel. Click that subscribe button and come on in. The other thing we're going to cover and talk about is, if you got your first guitar, congratulations. If you're in the market for a guitar, well, I want to give you some food for thought. And it's not to deter you or to turn you away from guitar. It's to help you make a decision on the instrument. Are you buying the right instrument you are interested in? Now, with that being said, music is an awesome hobby. It's an absolute awesome hobby. Music has been a huge part of my life. It has helped me through hard times, and like you won't believe, it's the best stress reducer that I could ever find. And of everything out there, music always works the best for me every single time. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the guitar. And now, me personally, I love acoustic. I love playing acoustics. Currently I have 3 of them, and I have 2 Fenders, and I have an Eternia, which is made by Yamaha. It's an older guitar. And what is the difference? Why the 3 guitars? We'll get into that later, because when it comes to guitar, there's so many different options, shapes, colors, everything else, that it can be overwhelming. But if you are a beginner, I really stress a good old acoustic. Why do I say a good old acoustic? Well, here's the main reason. This is already designed and the sound is equally balanced. Your treble, your mids, and your bass. So with an electric guitar, one thing you're going to find is you're going to have a volume control, you're going to have 2 tone controls. Depending on the guitar, you're going to have a channel selector switch, which is also going to change your tone. For a new student, this can be overwhelming. This can be actually more of a distraction for you than it's helping you. So I really recommend, if you're just getting into guitar, look into acoustic. Now you're going to hear, oh my God, why an acoustic? Because you have to press harder than electric. First and foremost, you have to understand there's different string gauge sizes out there, and you have to find a string gauge size that works best for you. I recommend for everybody just getting into it, use the lightest string that you find is the most comfortable on your fingers. If you use too thick of a string, you may find that you do not have the dexterity. And what I mean by that, well, when it comes to a guitar, a lot of what we do is remembering shapes, remembering scales, and a lot of it after a while becomes muscle memory. And you get the muscle memory from playing the song, perfecting it, sitting it, and playing it over and over again until you get it to where it sounds good to you. Now, you found your guitar. We're going to say theoretically, you bought it, you have it. Now, what do? Well, unfortunately, the next thing that you're going to have to do is get a tuner. Now, when it comes to tuners, I've gotten in with the times. I got a digital tuner. It works just absolutely spectacular, and it'll tune a multitude of different instruments. Everything from a cello to a bass to a guitar to a mandolin. Anything you can think of that's a stringed instrument, it will tune. Now, do you need anything like this? No, the basic guitar tuner works very well. It'll get the job done. Heck, even now, all you got to do is go on your smartphone and go into your app store, and you're going to find a multitude of free guitar tuners out there. Is anyone better than the other? Me personally, I like tuners like this, and I don't really like to rely on smartphone apps. And the only reason why I say that is it does utilize the speaker. The speaker picks up all this background noise, and so any background noise you have going on, people talking, TV on, radio on, whatever else, it's going to pick that up, and sometimes it can throw that tuning off. And I've had discussions with people about this, and they say, hey, I just don't like this app tuner because when I'm done with it, I just noticed the guitar doesn't sound right, and I wind up having to retune it by ear anyway, so I just kind of say, what's the point? Well, that's why I kind of stress you might want to get a decent tuner and have that tuner for yourself. Okay, so first things first, getting to know your guitar. Getting to know, is your guitar set up right? This is the one thing most beginners where they get frustrated with. And if you're a beginner, you don't know anything about making adjustments to the guitars or anything like that, I strongly suggest you take it to somebody that knows how to do it and allow them to do it. Unless you have a publication and you've read it, you understand the procedure, and you understand what you're going to do with it, because you have to understand it is a musical instrument. So making adjustments to the truss rod, stuff like that, if you've never done it, I wouldn't recommend your first go at it be with the guitar you really like to play. Yeah. If you want to go down that route as you progress further in your studies, pick up a cheap guitar. Pick up something that, well, You don't have a lot of money in it, but it will give you a definite framework to be able to work within and utilize from there on out, to where you can sit and tinker with it, and if you make a mistake, you've learned the mistake and you haven't learned on your guitar that you like. So, food for thought. Now, is your guitar out of the box set up correctly? And this is the first thing that I'm going to emphasize and get out there. The first thing you're going to want to check is, how easy is it for you to depress the strings, okay? They call this the string action. Now, if you're having to press real hard and it is hurting your hands, you're feeling pain here, you're feeling pain here, and you're feeling pain here. That old saying, no pain, no gain, is absolute rubbish. That action is not correct for you. You will not play it correctly. You will never make it sound decent, for the fact that you are going to constantly be just taxing your tendons out in your hands to the point to where it's actually going to deter you. So the first thing you want to do when you get that out, test your string action, see how it feels. The second thing that I'm going to tell you, if you're going to pick out a guitar, even if you don't know how to play yet, the one thing you want to check when you're looking at your guitar, because they're going to hand it to you, and most salesmen, what they're going to do is they're going to hand it to you knowing that a lot of people don't know how to play it, so they're going to be intimidated, nervous looking, and they're going to say, well, check this out, and they're going to play a couple of songs, dazzle you, it's going to sound great, and you're going to want to buy it. Well, full breaks. First things first, what you're going to want to do is every fret, every string, go down. Make sure every fret sounds off, crisp and clean. You can get a neck, believe it or not, brand new guitar that has a misadjusted truss rod. You get it, you have a slight tweak to it, and then where you're really going to notice it is down here on the higher up in the register, or the lighter strings on the bottom, and you're going to hear them notes begin to fade. If you have a fret where you're sitting there, it's barely sounding off, you can barely hear it, or it sounds real clunky. What I mean by that is fret buzz. You're going to hear a bzzz in the act when you strum the string. The guitar is not set up right. And at that point, you're going to want to take it in and have them set it up to the action to where it's comfortable to you, and all notes on the fretboard can be heard clearly. Second thing, and this is going to be more advanced, and it's something I do, and they call this onation. Onation meaning, right here, if we look at the neck, we got these two dots. This is actually our octave, and what do I mean by that is right here, what they call the nut, where this is where we would begin. I'm not going to go through all the notes and they get confusing, but when you get to this and you see this double part right here, what this is telling you is all them notes start over, but at a higher octave. This is important because when you go to tune, you want to check your harmonic on your 12th fret compared to the open. Reason why I say this, if you're noticing a deviation between those two, you tune the open string, it falls in good with your tuner, but then you go to the onation and you're finding that note's off. It's flat, or it's too sharp, or it's showing it's going into the next note. For example, if you're trying to tune your E string, but it keeps showing you're bridging closer to an F, your onation's off. You have to take that in, and you're going to have to get it adjusted, because what's going to wind up happening is songs you are playing, they're not going to sound right because the onation is off, because them frets are actually off by a half note. And that confuses a lot of people. So that's the first thing when you go guitar shopping and you go looking, check your Onation. Make sure all your frets sound off nice, crisp, and clean, just like that. Try every single fret all the way down. If that's good, your Onation's good, and it feels good to you. That's the next thing I'm going to emphasize and tell you when it comes to a guitar. A lot of people, you're going to hear this, I call it an urban myth is what it is. If you go out and buy the most expensive guitar you find, it's going to make you sound the best. No. You have to understand, this thing is not thinking of what to do next. Okay, what makes this sound good is you and these. And you have to learn how to use these muscle memory and other things to make it sound good. I don't care what kind of guitar it is. A good musician can make the cheapest guitar sound like an expensive one. Just saying. Just saying. A lot of people put emphasis on spending exuberant amounts of money on musical instruments. And if you have to look at it this way, if you're the beginner, $150 guitar, it's a good investment. It's going to bring you a lot of years of enjoyment. If you're paying $1,500, $2,000 for a guitar, if you're not taking a guitar and going up on the stage and gigging every night with it, you have just thrown money out the window for nothing, because it's not going to bring you that money back. But with that being said, everybody has their different budget they operate within, and everybody else buys what they want. But I'm just saying, for the beginner, the $150 acoustic guitar is fine to get you beginning, to get you on the way, to get you learning. And then at that point, you can branch out to other types of guitars or electric guitars, and you will already have the basics under your belt. I hope this helps, and I hope this introductory video wasn't too long. But just to recap real quick, just remember, when you go to look at your guitar, you go to guitar shopping, make sure every fret sounds off decently, make sure the string action is not too tight, and make sure your Onation, and believe it or not, to do that, all you have to do is rest your finger, and I'll show you how I do that. Just like that. You don't deaden the fret, you just rest your finger on the string, because it is a harmonic. And you just make absolutely 100% sure that the Onation is correct. And if it is, everything will sound good. All right, until the next video, thanks for joining me. And, well, I hope the guitar brings you many, many, many years like me of enjoyment and learning, awe, wonder, and I never stop learning. So with that being said, I hope to see you in the next video.